All right, there's a lot of speculation about how bad this week was for the president. I get that that is an enticing question, but there's something that concerns me more, much more, in fact, and that is how the president handled things this week. He fully transitioned into mob boss mode. You could literally find his echo in a Gotti or his gangster of choice, Capone, or even a Corleone. His bashing of the Justice Department is run by crooks and out to get people without cause. His perverse notion that getting a mobster for tax evasion is a cop-out when they're suspected of even worse crimes. Think about that. Our president poo-poos Capone's convictions because they never got him for murder. Then came the real WTF moment for me.
I know all about flipping. For 30, 40 years, I've been watching flippers. Everything's wonderful, and then they get 10 years in jail, and they flip on whoever the next highest one is, or as high as you can go. It almost ought to be outlawed.
Did he really just say that? Yes, and it wasn't the first time. He didn't misspeak. It wasn't just a hot moment. He has referred to cooperators as rats, just like gangsters do. I have literally only heard the notion he just introduced, that flipping shouldn't be allowed, from people complaining to me over the years about why they shouldn't be in jail as gangsters. Now remember who this man was before he was president and what he promised you when he wanted the nomination.
I will work with and appoint the best and brightest prosecutors and law enforcement officials to get the job properly done. In this race for the White House, I am the law and order candidate.
He won and took an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. Not to puncture, pummel, and desecrate the Constitution. Why do I use such pejoratives? Because the government's ability to use pressure to get people involved in criminal activity, to give up bigger aspects and players, is fundamental to just about every major investigation. How would you get drug kingpins, mobsters, white-collar crooks if you don't have the ability to develop a case by working your way up the chain, in part with cooperators? Now, can you complain about how they do it and whether it's genuine and whether people are doing it too often? Of course. But for Trump to question the existence of the tool shows ignorance of the reality, an ignoring of his oath and position, and a flashing red light of insecurity as someone who seems to fear that other people could be a problem for them. Now, support for that last part of the argument. Timing. He said this nonsense about getting rid of flippers Wednesday to his Fox friends. Thursday, Pecker flipped, given immunity to tell the truth about what Trump knew and what he did with Cohen to perhaps violate campaign laws. And today, his longest advisor, his CFO, Weisselberg, given immunity, and who knows what he knows. Certainly, this is the closest investigators have gotten to Trump. Coincidence in this timing? You know what? Maybe. Maybe, to be fair, maybe Cohen flipping, pleading guilty, saying what he said about Trump directing his actions. That could have been enough for Trump to decide to attack one of the foundations of criminal prosecution, despite being the man charged with protecting the same process. Regardless, him musing about outlawing cooperation right when three close confidants and maybe co-conspirators decide to tell the truth to the government. And remember, none of their deals protect them from perjury. So they lie, the deal dies. So all of this makes me worry about what our president might do to protect that which matters to him most, apparently, himself. The best advice remains the same. Mr. President, surrender the me to the we. If you have nothing to hide, let the process play out. Show your respect for the institution. Not only will that show confidence in your own cause, but it will remind that we need support, not savaging, from the men and women we elect to be the stewards of our institutions. After all, does an innocent man attack every aspect of an investigation? Does an innocent man constantly suggest that the outcome is certain to be bogus? That's why the way Trump handled the legal landslide this week concerns me more than any of the other speculation.